Next, I'm actually going to be showing you two games. The first one I'm going to show you is another extremely popular game that I see students playing here at Coronado. But the two games are very related to each other, but very different in their complexity and the different types of things that our students are expected to do. So the first game we're going to look at is called 10-Frame Mania. Now, if you are unfamiliar with a 10-frame, it is a manipulative or a tool that students use, especially when learning how to add numbers within 10. It is a frame, what we would call an array, 2 rows of 5, so that students can work on groupings of 5 and those number partners to make 10. So for instance, if they had one row filled with 5 and 2 more, they can see that it only takes 3 more to add on to make 10, kind of trying to find those different number bonds. So in 10-Frame Mania, we're going to look at medium here. Just like with Kakuma and a lot of the Greg Tang games, you have different levels that you can work on. What we're going to be doing in this game is you can kind of see this little maze here. There are going to be numbers that come through this maze, and we are going to have to fill in our 10-frame to represent those numbers. But just like Kakuma, it's going to increase in complexity, and actually we're going to be given some different tools to make some more efficient choices as we play. So let's go ahead and look at a level 3 game here. So in this level 3 game, you can see that we have a 5 and we have a 10 in previous levels. So actually let's go back and look maybe just at what a level 1 looks like. When we start at level 1, you can see that we've got this locked spot here. So we have this number 1 coming through. I need to fill in my 10 frame to show that amount. 1. It goes away. Now I need to fill in my 10 frame to show 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're essentially just trying to make the numbers that are shown here before these different numbers reach the end of the maze, otherwise you've lost the game. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, we've unlocked a fill 5. Now what a fill 5 does is it's going to allow us to click on this 5 here and it's going to fill in the entire row here for us. So you can be more efficient with what you're doing. You don't have to make as many clicks. This game is a funny one to watch students play because you'll just hear mice and computers clicking like crazy when really students may only need to make just a couple clicks. Now one thing I like here is I could click 4 times or I could click the 5 and take 1 away. So we're talking about efficient strategies and efficient grouping to get these different answers. I could take 5 and take 2 away, or I could just count up 2, I could count up to 4. So there's all sorts of different ways that students can go about solving these, and this is really working on becoming more efficient, and it'll increase as we go. Now, that kind of leads into what we looked at with the level 3 puzzle, where now we would have already unlocked the fill 5, we even would have unlocked a fill 10, and so you might be able to guess what's coming up next here, but let's look. So I'm going to start with 5 and 2, or 10 and 4. There's a straight 5, 5 and 1, 10 and 1 makes 11. Now we've unlocked another fill 5. So essentially what we're allowing students to do is fill 15. So you can see how these kind of build on top of each other over time to allow students to make greater numbers with more efficient means, like I just did there. That wasn't a very efficient way to do that. The more efficient way would be to go 10 and 5, or 10, 5, and take 1 away. So this is 10-Frame Mania. It's working on students' number sense and some logical grouping techniques in order to make the number or create the number, compose the number that's being shown in the puzzle. So the next thing that I want to show you is related to 10-Frame Mania. It's called Minus Mania. Now Minus Mania is not a game that I would encourage most elementary students to play, but if you have those students who are needing more of a challenge, or especially 5th grade students, Minus Mania is great. It gets them ready for some 6th grade and middle school skills that they're going to be using. I'm actually going to go on easy here because I have to think about these a little bit while I play. Now in Minus Mania, essentially what you are using here is the idea of negative numbers, which is not a skill that's widely explored in elementary school. 5th grade they might explore it a tiny bit, but really that's more of a middle school standard or skill that they're starting to explore. So if we look at the most basic level, you can see that we have a number line here of negative 10 to 10, and we just need to identify where negative 7 would be here. So if we can identify this as negative 5, negative 7 would have to be this next one, or negative 4, or negative 2. Now it's not just negative numbers, we're also looking at positive numbers as well, so positive 5. And we can see that we move on to round 2. Now, unlike 10-Frame Mania, we're not making new fill conditions or things like that in this case. So Now, as you move up, again, just like I said with 10 frame Mania, these are going to get harder as you go on with minus Mania. So now we have to identify an equation. 1 plus 8 would give us our 9. Or negative 1 plus negative 5. So now we're introducing students to the idea of adding a negative takes you further negative. Or negative 7 plus negative 1. So you see how my answer was incorrect there. It told me that. So as you continue there. Now, these get even better. I'm going to go back into the puzzle there. These get even better. Let's see here. Oh, I want to go back. If we go to medium and hard levels, oh, let's go back one more. Now we start using the idea of coordinate systems, which is definitely a middle school skill. It's something that started to be explored in 5th grade, but nowhere near to this extent. So what we're trying to find is a coordinate system, so 2 plus negative 4, which would give us negative 2, so we know we're going down negative 2, it's got to be one of these two answers, and negative 1 plus negative 9, so it's negative 2, negative 10. Very difficult. And you can see that that's not even the most difficult level. We can even go up to hard. So this is a great resource even for middle grades or middle school students, as well as students who are needing a little bit more challenge within the elementary curriculum.